lot. He'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda Show. When he drank a lot, he would fight a lot. He might punch you in your nose. It's the Eric Miranda Show. There are people who would tell you he is crazy, but if you listen closely, he's unbelievable. He used to drink a lot, now he talks a lot. He'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda Show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Eric Miranda Show. I am here with Brandon Adams. Woo!
How we doing?
Listen, this is so I want to tell you really quickly about my love affair with Lloyd's carrot cake before we go any further. I've been eating this cake for a couple of decades as a New York City guy, and then I found out Brandon was in the neighborhood. So it was like, this is like unbelievable, because I'm a cake fiend. These people on the show, Brandon, they watched me eat a whole New York Sicilian pie a few weeks ago in one sitting. So they know.
Do you do it for speed, or you just do it for amount?
It's just kind of I never did it before, and I just wanted to know that I could do it.
Yeah.
And I've always said to people, I could eat a whole Sicilian pie. And then somebody's like, well, when are you going to do it? And I was like, oh, here we go. And then I was thinking of other things. Now I'm gonna at some point eat a whole Lloyd's carrot cake.
Oh, let's do it, man.
Right?
Let's do it.
But what happened? The reason I'm resistant to it tonight is because I went to Jake's last night.
Love Jake's.
And there was Lloyd's carrot cake on the menu.
Yes, they're frequent flyers.
Yeah,
they're always coming down the block.
Yeah, and then today, now I just want to let everyone know. So Lloyd's carrot cake, it's an institution. It started here in the Bronx first, before Lexington Avenue, right?
Yeah, well, actually started in my parents' apartment in Harlem.
Right.
But our first brick and mortar space was in Riverdale, right here.
Right. Cool. And then now there's a location on Lex Avenue, right? Lexington Avenue, right?
Yes.
So now, what year were you born?
1987.
Okay, so because I'm reading online that your dad was perfecting not your grandmother, but his grandmother's recipe.
His grandmother's recipe.
Right. So that's like crazy. Like you talk about, like my legacy is like we all think we know everything. Your legacy is carrots. It's amazing. So I was just wondering, were you old enough? I know there are pictures of you as a toddler in the shop.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was wondering, do you remember those early experiment days? But
No. I mean, by the time I was born, the business was up and running and thriving. So like he was, I feel like he was tweaking his recipes in the mid to late 70s. So he was a basketball player, and he got drafted actually in the NBA to what was the Baltimore Bullets. They're now the Washington Wizards. And wound up getting injured, and then started working in rehab. Actually started working, he was in
sports rehab.
No, actually drug rehab.
So
he worked
really?
in like the methadone clinics.
Wow.
Back in the 70s. But he always had such a love for hoops and the city, and the Knicks. The Knicks were great back in the days in the 70s. So like he would always host runs at Columbia University, and his friends would always come over after the games to watch the Knicks after they were finished playing ball. And they would always say, "Hey, bake us one of those cakes. Bake us one of those cakes."
Right.
And then eventually they were like, "This is so good. You got to sell this." So like that's when he started, tweaking recipes, and then started, going throughout the wholesale route. And he started with coffee shops and restaurants and supermarkets. And our first wholesale client was a very famous soul food restaurant called Sylvia's in Harlem.
Yep, I know. I remember Sylvia's. Yep.
World famous restaurant. So he takes one of his cakes there, and then he drops it off, saying, "Hey, this is my thing. Why don't you give it a try? Free of charge."
Yep.
Goes home, and by the time he gets home, his phone's ringing and say, "Hey, we need
more." That's great. Well, now I heard a quote from your mother, Betty, that said, all we need to do is get them to taste it.
Well, that was what my dad would tell her.
Oh.
He was like, we just got to get them to try it. We
Yep.
just got to get them to try it. And she was at the time like a budding cable TV executive, and kind of working her way up the ranks on the marketing side. But she would help with the marketing of the business as well. You know, she would do a lot of cold calling, like, I've got this new product, you got to try, it. Yeah, and she just would help with the. She was actually very pivotal because when he started to grow a little bit and had to get out of his kitchen in his apartment, um, they built a makeshift kitchen in her parents' basement at the time,
Wow.
and so it's
Now that
actually.
was for the wholesale, obviously, right?
Yeah,
So,
because they had a little bit more equipment, and
right.
you can, get more inventory and space. And that's actually, it's a family building in Harlem, and that's where I grew up. So like that's where the first kitchen was, which is really cool.
All right, so I love carrot cake. I'm here. So check it out. So now this isn't just the person who just said they love carrot. This isn't just carrot cake. Well, I'm going to tell you what I realized. Like I was really trying to critique the cake last night because I knew you were coming on. And what it is for me, I'm a sugar junkie, but the sweetness of that cake. Now, I just want to let everybody know they do more than just carrot cake. They do red velvet cake.
I bought everything here today,
Oh
so we've
wow!
got the
So,
whole
oh
shebang
man, this
today.
is crazy. So I'm gonna have to. By the way, I fasted today, and
Okay.
I burned about 3,000 calories.
Nice.
I don't know how Brandon did this, but he's 6'5". I don't know how we're pulling this off right now. Are you slumping? Did I give you a small? So I gave myself a little lip. Now, what I also learned today is your father was 6'6".
Yeah.
So an inch, and you're 6'5".
I'm actually 6'6". We were the same size.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
See, little
Yeah.
in-home competition.
Yeah, but he was a heck of a ball player, great shooter. He actually just got inducted. Well, I want to say 2 years ago, he was inducted into the Harlem Basketball Players Hall of Fame. So it's a community organization based in Harlem, and they just kind of, make sure that they represent for all of the basketball greats that have kind of come through the neighborhood. So the Pee Wee Kirklands, the Tom Satches, and all that. So it was a great honor for him. We were really excited to, receive that in his name.
And speaking of honors, so what's going on this weekend with Lloyd and Betty?
Oh yeah, it's a really really prestigious honor. We're really excited about the opportunity. So last year, the New York City Council passed a bill to rename the street in front of the bakery, the flagship bakery on Broadway, and it's going to be co-named Betty and Lloyd Adams Way after my parents. Yeah, we're really really excited about it. Just it's a great way to cement their legacy in entrepreneurship and community and customer service, and just go down, cement them in the New York City history books.
Right. Now, I found out about this yesterday when we had a pre-discussion, and I was in I was in North Riverdale, and there was just some police sergeant, and they had it, and I thought to myself, what a great way to honor someone, because I'm looking at this guy's name and I'm thinking, wow, he must have done something cool, must have been a good community man, etc. And then I find out about your parents. So that's like, you guys must be ecstatic.
Yeah, we're really, really excited. Especially in New York City, you see it so many times, just with people that have, you'll see Robert De Niro Way in the Bronx, or Cicely Tyson in Harlem, or Malcolm X Boulevard, things like that, just to be, cemented and have that legacy, just, and as long as New York City is running their streets the same way, like, they're going to be around and be remembered. That's really cool.
That's really great. Yeah, and no, that's really. So now let's talk a little bit about. So now, was your father born in stateside, or was he?
No, he was actually born in St. Thomas. He was born in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, and I believe he first moved up to the city when he was 13, with his mother and his sisters and brothers. And his mom wound up going back down to the Virgin Islands and taking them, but he wound up staying. So he was living in Harlem on his own by the age of like 16, 17, which is crazy to me. In the 60s and 70s. And went to Hughes High School, Charles Evans Hughes High School, which was a very strong basketball school at the time, and was Daily News All City, and earned a scholarship to Wisconsin University. He was a Badger, and really killed it out there. He killed it, put up some crazy numbers as a freshman and sophomore, and then wound up having to transfer because he got caught up in some war protests, and we kind of.
So he was involved in the war protests?
Yeah, he was involved in the war protests and just was kind of at odds with his coach over the political stance, and then wound up transferring to the University of Rhode Island.
Anybody who looks back now, I'm assuming, what year was this?
That was he was high school class of 68. So between 68 and 70, I would say.
Right. And anyone who looks back, I was just talking about anybody who looks back on that war, I hope at some point that coach called you dad and apologized.
Yes, one would hope.
Yeah, one would hope, right? What a horrible.
I wouldn't bet on it.
No, I get it. Some people are dug in, but so now he's here by himself in the 70s, 60s, 70s. And so now what was he doing before? So is he just playing ball before he started doing the carrot cake?
He was working in drug rehab. So he was working.
All right. He did. Right. He was doing the methadone clinics. Right.
Yeah.
So tell me when the switch came from like, okay, I'm baking cakes for friends. And then you said you got your first client at Sylvia's, right?
Yep. And I think, I'm not too certain, but I think after a while, they kept getting the word out. They kept growing their network. I think they, started in Central Harlem and just kind of started taking over Manhattan and getting mainstay wholesale clients, like a lot of hospitals. They all have cafes, a lot of coffee shops. The Jimbo's restaurant, Jimbo's Hamburger, it's a very popular burger chain in the inner city. And then, eventually, it was more than a hustle and it grew into a business.
Right. Now, did your mom stay on? Hey there, Lori. How are you? We're talking carrot cake. By the way, Lori's a personal trainer.
Nice.
And she egged me on to eat the whole Sicilian pie. So when I do the whole carrot cake
nice
on the show, she's going to egg me on because people are like, don't do it. You're going to die. And she's like, you're not going to die. Your body's only going to absorb X amount.
Yeah,
so,
I actually over the summer we were down by the beach down by Belmar, and the family, they have there's an Italian restaurant where they have this challenge, and it's like you eat a double XL pie and you get a free T-shirt. So
did you get one?
Well, first Kristen's brother, she comes back. My partner, she comes back. He comes back with a shirt, and then her dad comes back with a shirt.
Oh, I think I heard.
And then they were like, I don't know if he can do it. And I said, don't threaten me with a good time. So I had to get my shirt.
You came back with a tent, right?
Yeah.
He ate 3 of them. It's the only thing I can relate that to. There was you remember the game Simon?
Yeah.
So I was great at Simon. I'm a musician, as you know. And I went into a pizzeria in Pennsylvania, and they said, if you could do X, you would get, we would get a free pie. It was like a Little Caesar or something. And then I did double X, and we got the whole meal paid for, which was kind of cool. But I like the fact that Lori was like, do it. Don't back down. And so that was cool. So now you said your mom was an exec for cable, you said?
Yeah, she worked Group W, Paragon Cable, and then eventually became Time Warner Cable, which is what's now Spectrum.
Right. So now, did they make the jump at the same time, or
No, she had a very strong career. She was a director. She kind of helped build out pay-per-view services.
Right.
So when pay-per-view kind of got big, she was one of the big executives behind it. So it was really cool kind of growing up because we always had access to cable, all the cable, number one, and just like anytime there's a big fight on, or sometimes we get tickets to the fights, things like that. So
yeah, by the way, that stuff gets pricey now.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I stream everything.
Speaking of sports and betting and all that, now you worked for something 7. What was the company you worked for?
Game 7 Marketing.
Game 7.
Yeah. Game
7 Marketing. I think I know a little bit. Like I've heard people talk about that. And then unfortunately, 2007, you lost your dad.
Yeah.
And then your mom kind of died suddenly in 2020, right?
Yeah, very suddenly. Yeah.
And I'm really sorry to hear that.
I appreciate it.
And then you and your sister stepped in. So you just dropped everything. Is that?
Yeah. So I was working with Game 7 Marketing. They're like a very niche, very strong. They call themselves the mighty marketing company, kind of focused on experiential marketing, branding. Some of the main clients I work with were Nike basketball, brand Jordan, Foot Locker. So anytime there was any type of experiential activation, anything that they wanted to tie an experience with for consumers, like with it would kind of bring us in to kind of help build out the idea, make it come to life and execute it. So a lot of NBA All-Star Weekend type things, sneaker releases, a lot of New York City basketball events.
Right. Now I should mention, because we talked about your dad's basketball career, but you played for Manhattan College.
I played for Manhattan College, yeah. I played, I came up in New York City public school, and I finished at a boarding school, the Kent School in Connecticut. I played in Manhattan. I was lucky enough to, get a full scholarship. Play there for 4 years. I played internationally for a little bit. I played in Colombia, in South America. So I was in Cali, Colombia, but we would travel all over the country, which was a crazy experience. Great country, great food.
Yeah.
Love Colombia. But yeah, and basketball has been a huge part of my life as well. Coached basketball for a very long time.
And you still coach the kids,
coach
right?
kids now. I'm coaching a 5th grade team. I started when I was in college with a group of 6th graders, actually, to kind of usher through high school and help, them with their college decisions. And, then I got another group, have a kid that just graduated from Harvard and finished at Iona with his master's.
So you're basically a mentor, is what I'm
saying.
And it's amazing. Look, and we need more of that. And I think, Lori says, wow, totally great accomplishments. So the thing with the now I read a funny quote from you today, and I want to challenge you a little bit. I want to know a little bit more. So you went to Kent boarding school, and you say in one of these interviews you said, coming from New York City, you said it was culture shock. Come on, lay it on me. What does it mean?
Well, I mean,
come on, was it a bunch of like rich white kids? Tell me.
Yeah, definitely. There's no shortage of rich white kids in prep school. That's for sure. Yeah, they so I mean, I went to New York City public school. Every school, I was really lucky though. Every school that I went to was like a pretty strong academic school, very diverse. But it was like New York City, it's super diverse. And then like number one, you're just off in the middle of Connecticut, tucked in the mountains. It's a beautiful campus, tucked on the river. But yeah, I mean, there's just like definitely a wealth disparity. There's like a lot of affluence, and just the culture is completely different. I mean, it's like I'm going from wearing jeans and Jordans to, you have to be in a blazer and a tie, like literally 7 days a week. You gotta have slacks on. But it was a great experience. I mean, I once you get over that first kind of initial transitional period, you build some lifelong, relationships. Like some of my best friends are from boarding school.
Yeah.
And it also prepared me for college. I feel like I was really just a step ahead of all my, at least my teammates, just because, it was like, it came kind of easier, the workload, being on your own, managing time, things like that, because it kind of makes you grow up quicker.
Yeah. That sounds like it. Well, and it's interesting too, because now academically, I come from a town called Island Park on Long Island.
Okay.
And I was known as a really good guitar player in that town. People would be like, he's a genius, great musician, whatever. And there's a guy who comes on here once in a while, a guy named Francis Dunnery. He's a world-renowned guitar player. He's played with the biggest. Most of my major gigs that I've done with super famous people came through him. And I remember sitting in his studio when I was about 28 years old, and he picked up a guitar. Now, remember, I'm a genius. I'm one of the greatest guitar players anyone's ever met. And I watched this guy play guitar, and I was like, do I even play guitar? And then it's kind of like that thing, right? You come from New York City public school and you're academically sound, and all of a sudden you get into this tougher school with these kids who have all kinds of advantages, the prep courses.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even like my first English class, like I literally went from like 10th grade humanities, and I go to what's called fifth form, and we're like literally trying to break down Chaucer, and it's like Old English, and it's like I'm literally lost. I remember I was at a wedding of a friend that went to boarding school towards the end of the summer, so it was almost like a little reunion. So we were kind of talking about that, and just how like there was a certain passage, it was like 90 lines of Chaucer you just had to memorize.
Yeah.
And it's like
begats and ye's and therefores and verily. Verily is one of my favorite. Verily.
Verily.
Yeah, I mean, I've dabbled in Shakespeare, but that's kind of like pop old English.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty crazy. Now, did you have dreadlocks and all that, or were you like a clean
No,
cut? Yeah.
no. I mean, I just
I wish you
started.
would have shown up like this.
Nah, I that wasn't really it. You know, I was dark Caesar, low Caesar, and always tried to get my waves going. Actually, my senior year, I did a little bit of a mohawk. I used to tell my friends that I started that trend because it really got going when I was in college. But
Wait, I got to check something out. Did I not say Island Park, or did I say Long Beach? There's a problem.
you said Island Park.
I said Island Park.
You
I
definitely
just
said
want
Island
to
Park.
make sure, because what happens is nobody knows where Island Park is.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not familiar with the Island
so
Park.
you know where Long Beach is, right?
Yeah,
You ever hear of Oceanside?
yeah.
Okay, we're actually an island tucked between the two. So we're on the mainland, Oceanside, and then Long Beach is the peninsula. And we're actually an island. You have to take a bridge in and out of our town. So it's like a lot of us grew up in little seaside towns. So I just wanted to make sure, because I thought people were getting like, hey, dude, don't diss our town.
Do you go back a lot?
I don't. My brother Richard sold my parents' house in 2015. I go down there for one of my, I'm not supposed to break my anonymity, but I go down there for one of my AA meetings, a couple of times a year. And I don't have I'm friends with a lot of people from that town, but a lot of them moved out also.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this. All right. So let's get back to Carrot Cake. So,
okay.
All right. So now your mom's an executive. She's with cable. Your dad pulls the trigger, starts the store.
Yeah.
And
he started opening up the shop in '86. And the shop was strong. It continued to grow. We opened up another location on 115th Street, between 5th and Lenox. We were there for a while. We were there from, I want to say, 93 till about 05. And my dad closed those doors for, I don't know if it was rent increases or so, just, reasons I'm not too certain of. At that time, I'm like 16, 15.
Now, was that a retail location, or was that
that was, I mean, basically all the locations support
both?
all, kind of facets of the business.
Right. Got it.
So, especially when demand comes, you just try to bake as much as you can.
But speaking of demand, so I just want to let you all know, I became friendly with Brandon around Thanksgiving, and this past Thanksgiving.
Man.
And I was like, let me ask him if he can grab a cake for me. And I drove past the shop on Broadway here in the Bronx, and there was a line, literally, like I thought people were gonna bring tents and stuff.
Yeah, it gets crazy around Thanksgiving. Those last couple of days leading up, it's just lines, and people are so committed, and we really appreciate all our patrons and supporters, and they're patient because it's an artisan process, right? It's not a quick process, especially when you're baking in big batches in small places, and trying to feed the masses. And it's great that we can be on so many Thanksgiving tables. Like, we really, really appreciate the fact that that our family is a part of all of these families, and it's become a tradition for a lot of families. And they get upset when they can't get it, and I understand that.
So I get a knock on the door. We're neighbors, and Brandon hands me a carrot cake, and I'm on my way out to Long Island to my sister Justine's, and it weighed about 150 pounds. And it was just like such a dense cake. And the truth is, what I did, and I've never done this, and I don't know if my sister tuned in tonight, but when I was leaving, if you bring something to a home, you never bring it back with you. I was like, I'm bringing it with. I came this close to snatching the little piece of cake that was left, and I was like, nah, I'm not. And believe me, when I say that cake went, my sister has. She's a foodie. She and her husband just do it up. So this was a cake among many foods, and it went, and it was a big, unbelievable.
Yeah,
so
it's funny. Sometimes you hear so many stories about how quick it goes. Even this week, I gave Kristen, my partner, I gave her 2 cakes to take to school. I was going to do something with them. I said I didn't need them, so why don't you take them to the teachers? And I mean, she's in the building probably like 8:20. Even earlier, maybe like 8:20. By 8:55, I got a text. Everything is gone.
Well, I went into a deli on Moshulo Avenue today, and I saw the cakes, and it was a Middle Eastern guy, and I said, "Hey, man," I said, "those Lloyds?" He said, "Yeah." He goes, "They go quick." So he thought I wanted one, and I did, but I figured I was going to get one tonight. And he said, "They go quick." And I used to eat the Lloyd's carrot cakes in downtown restaurants all the time, like East Village, stuff like that, a couple of different places. I think What was the diner we used to eat at? Not the Ukrainian diner. Something with an O. I can't remember, but it was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy how it was a legend. I love meeting legends, whether in music, sports, or cake. Now, I read today 800 pounds of fresh carrots a day.
Yeah, give or take. You know, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the demand and what time of the year it is, what day of the week it is. But yeah, we are grounding up fresh carrots. There's it's 9:15. There's somebody right now in the shop that's grounding up some fresh carrots. Right, I could probably pull up the camera. Let me see if we can get him. He's grounding up fresh carrots, and it's just they come in 50-pound bags, and we snip them, and it's you actually you cut them down once, and that shreds them. But we cut them down again to get them nice and fine and get all the juice.
You know, I kind of interrupted myself earlier with the pizza, but what I realized it is about the carrot cake at Lloyd's is the sweetness comes from the carrots. I'm not getting jittery from it. It's not refined sugar. It's the carrot that makes the sweetness. I mean, how much better can that be?
Oh, right? Yeah. And that's the thing. It makes it so sweet and moist because, we're just using all fresh ingredients. Let's see if we can. Yeah, he's there.
All right. You know what? I'm going to try something here. Let's see if we can do this. Can we oh no, I won't be able to do that. I kind of wish I could. Let's just see if we can get that in front of the camera. It's gonna be hard. Yeah, this is. Let's see. Anyway, that is a man. There you go. Can you all see that? Chopping up carrots. Love that. So I hope that guy's getting paid handsomely because he's chopping up carrots in the middle of the night. Let's see. Oh, here. Okay, I'm here. Your sister. Hello, my sister. Okay, what is this? Come and visit. Yeah, so see, these are my homies. My friend nice. Keith was the ice cream man when we were kids. I mean, he's younger than me, but he just enterprising young man, went out and got a truck. And,
nice.
Yeah, we called him Bucky back in the day. I don't know where that came from, but so 800 pounds of carrots. Now let's talk about when did you start branching out into? Hang on a second. Hey. I'm on the show right now. Okay. Is that okay? Can I call you back in about a half hour or so?
Yeah, I thought it ended at 9.
No, we started late.
Okay,
love you too. Bye. Always take the calls from my kids.
Absolutely.
So when did you? And by the way, I just want to let you know, Brandon's a dad. He's a married man. They're an awesome family. His in-laws are amazing. I have not met your sister yet.
No,
but
I don't think so. No.
But really, we have a lot of fun when we get to hang with them. And speaking of like the work you do and the mentoring stuff, Kristen's mom's got to be an influence. I mean, she does so much with the Bowery Mission.
Oh yeah, she's the head chef at the Bowery Mission. She does such great work down there.
Yeah,
I mean, on the daily, just literally feeding the city, feeding thousands of people that are unhoused or have food insecurities. I was actually I was sitting with the people at the Riverdale Neighborhood House, which is a great organization here in North Riverdale. Yeah. Just figuring out how to best support them, and just they were talking about the work that they do and the friendly fridges that they do, and they're growing. They have a garden to grow vegetables, just because food insecurity is such a big problem in the States, and it's so crazy that it is, but it is, and it's great to see. The people that do, commit themselves to that. And Kristen's mom, Susan, she's, she has such a great relationship with all the people down there. They love her so much.
Yeah.
And she's such a great cook too. Like she just really like gets, I mean, you've been
yeah. I mean, by the way, so when you go to Brandon's house for a Super Bowl party, you just have to bring your appetite.
Absolutely.
I'm in pain between. Now, Susan, by the way, I had a great grandma, Susan, and like your mother-in-law, her name is Assunta.
Assunta, yeah.
And that was amazing to meet another Assunta. But yeah, the food, the Italian food. And then did I have black and white? I had cupcakes. I forgot. I ate so much sugar.
Oh, that's probably like the black and white cake. Yeah, because Kristen loves that one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So now when did the transition happen from carrot cake to other cakes?
I want to say that was before I came around as well. So these are, I know you were, so those are some freshly baked cupcakes. You were very worried about the sugar intake, so I figured if you wanted to try something without any frosting on it.
Are you gonna join me for one?
Yeah, I'll do one of these.
All right, let's do one of these.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Roxy. Get at my dog is underneath this right now.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now, what is this now?
It's a carrot cupcake. That one has
Oh.
walnuts and raisins in it.
Walnuts, raisins.
Yeah.
Okay, so a carrot. I'll let you all know. And by the way, now you I know you deliver all over the country, right?
Yeah, we ship all over the country via a service called Goldbelly. And we ship 3 times a week. Everything gets there the very next day. It's super fresh. So yeah, it's great.
This is okay. By the way, I fasted all day, 24 hours. Whatever I didn't eat and whatever I burned today, I can make up in 30 seconds here. This is so good. Now, this is slightly different. This isn't as rich as the cake.
No, it's
Is it just that it's smaller? And
I think so.
Okay. This is, and you didn't bring 10 of these, right? Because I would eat 10 of them.
No, but there's a lot more stuff over there too.
Okay. Now, I think I can share this camera over here. I think people need to see what's.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's. What's in the top box?
So the top box is a whole cake. That's a carrot cake. It's a small one, 6-inch.
Oh, so it only weighs 60 pounds. Wow. Okay. So and what's underneath it?
Underneath is assorted slices. So you got all different types of slices down there.
Okay. Oh my God. This is nuts, bro. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I got to tell Lori Montanino that I may die after all, even though you said I can't. This is okay. Let's see. My problem is I don't think I'm going to sample. I think I'm going to eat. Okay, so let's start with the red velvet cake. Now, is this your second most popular?
That's the second most popular. Okay.
Okay, so this is in a little thing here. I'm gonna get a plate. You want some of this, or you?
I'm good.
So you're
Thank
just you're just gonna watch me blow up, right? So, and remember, I don't have. So you're, I'm about 5'6" and a half now. I shrunk. So you're about a foot taller than me. Hang on a second. You can keep them entertained, right? Don't worry about it.
Talk to me, people. How we doing?
That's right. So, all right. Now, I know this is like food porn, but okay, look at this. I want to, I want to put it in front of this camera here. Oh, I have to share this camera. Let's see here. Present, extra camera, share. Okay, so now I got to put it on the stage. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to be the host and the technician at the same time.
EP.
Yeah, man. Okay, look at this. This is, I'll tell you the truth. This camera isn't doing the redness of this cake any justice, but I'm going to review it right now in real time, folks. Okay, so now I don't know. Did I have the red velvet at the Super Bowl party, or was that not there?
I can't remember.
Oh my God. So
that's what we're going for.
That's what we're going for. Okay, so this is the question. How did was Betty involved in this recipe with Lloyd, or was it just?
No, by the time we started baking red velvets, we were still she was still pretty deep in the marketing world. She didn't really, she would obviously support, but she didn't really come on in a full-time capacity until my dad passed in 2007.
In 2007.
So, and she kind of danced for a little bit in and out of both. But I think around 2008, when the financial crisis happened, if I remember correctly, they offered her a package, which she took, and it just gave her an opportunity to lead the helm. And she did such a great job in terms of building the brand and taking the brand to new heights, and building partnerships and getting media involved, and she really worked her tail off over the last 15 years of her life, taking this business to the next level.
All right, you know that I'm going to get killed by Sheila because I'm going to take a few bites and it's all going to be in the house and I'm going to be away for the weekend. So this is German chocolate cake. Let's get rid of this right here for a second. And let's go to here. All right. And then, okay, so, I wish this, the nice look of this camera is also the downfall of this camera because it's hard to get things in focus. This is, okay. I may have to eat this whole thing. Now, what's on top of the cake here?
So that's coconut. There's walnut in there, and it's a little kind of like caramelized.
How do people order? So they just go to Lloyds Carrot Cake?
You can go to lloydscarrotcake.com. We take phone orders, email orders. We're on Uber Eats as well. Postmates. And again, we ship all over the country. They make great presents. We get so much feedback about how excited people are to come home and they have a package and it's fresh baked goods. Yeah. Good stuff, huh?
This is my drug of choice. Let me take a sip of coffee here.
And it's great with coffee. The carrot cake with coffee is just like people have it for breakfast.
Just like with the pizza, I'm shoving it down my throat so quickly I'm going to die. Oh my God. But this, there's other things I need to sample. But this is so good. So this is walnuts. Now
walnuts, coconut. That's the same frosting that you have there. It's just
right. So this is the same that's in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's like crazy. Oh, hang on. I have to do this. I have to antagonize everyone who's not eating German chocolate cake from Lloyd's. So if somebody goes to the website, are there specific days you deliver?
So for shipping, that goes to GoBelly's website, and basically, you depending on the amount of orders in at a time, because we only ship out X amount of orders per day. You can get a cake somewhere in a certain amount of time, or you can have it delivered for a specific day. But our shipping days we ship out on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, pretty much.
How many cakes are you shipping nationwide per month, let's say?
Again, depends on the month, but can be anywhere from 300 to 800-900 cakes a month, depending.
Wow, that is amazing. I never think, when you think of a cake shop, bakery, whatever, I can't conceive of those numbers. There's just like so many cakes.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of cake. I see a lot of cake.
Yeah, and I see you in restaurants. Okay, this is strawberry.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Okay,
it's
I'm gonna get another spoon.
No, absolutely not.
I need to. I've never had strawberry layer cake before.
So it's our vanilla cake, and it's got strawberry preserves in the middle, and then that's a buttercream frosting on top, and then there's shaved coconut sprinkled on top of the buttercream frosting.
This is all right. Now, okay, so you're shipping up to 900 cakes.
That's on Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
December.
Go with the number, man.
Yeah.
Now, and what about locally in New York shops?
So we deliver locally, 4 days a week. On Thursdays we go throughout Jersey. Wednesdays we're in Brooklyn and downtown Manhattan, and then Tuesdays, Fridays is more like Harlem, the Bronx, Upper Manhattan.
So you have dozens upon dozens of locations. How many locations are you delivering to?
Do we serve? Yeah, I would say probably have a good 75 regular wholesale clients, and then people come in seasonally sometimes, and they'll come in for a month or something like that, or there'll be a collaboration. We've had some really great collaborations with Sweet Chick. I don't know if you know the Sweet Chick, the restaurant there. They're a pretty popular restaurant. They started in LES.
Don't know it, but
it's they're known for their chicken and waffles, but they're a very chic kind of like brunch spot. They do chicken and waffles and great pancakes, great brunch. They do a lot of drinks as well. It's and it's kind of like a lot of hip hop vibes. Nas is one of the investors with
nice.
along with the founder, who's his name is slipping my mind, but it's my guy. Can't remember, but anyhow, they're very popular. And we actually did a collaborative. They did a carrot cake waffle. So they took they took our cake, crumbled it up, and then put it in the waffle batter.
That's
It
crazy.
was oh my gosh, it was like literally the best waffle I've ever had in my life.
That's amazing.
And then the carrot cake pancakes as well. And yeah, what is my guy's name? We did a spot on the morning news about the pancakes.
Right.
By
the way, I don't know if chocolate cake is my favorite anymore. This is insane.
Oh, I told that used to be my birthday cake every single year. That cake.
Well, I'm coming to your birthday. This is amazing.
John Seymour is his name. But yeah, these are the pancakes that we did, and they're so tasty.
I don't know if Lori realizes, but wait, hang on. What does this say? I would eat. Yeah, by the way, man, you're getting so many nice compliment. I know, Lori, do you live in the Carolinas? I want to know that somebody ordered a cake from Lloyds and shipped it out of state. This is, by the way, I'm going to be 600 pounds by next week's show. Were you expecting me to try every one of these?
No, there's no pressure. I was just showing you an assortment of what we have.
Well,
You're welcome to keep whatever you need.
Am I like wiping you out? Did you want me to? Because this is
no, not at all. I mean, we have plenty of cake. I'm also happy to take it off your hands and we can give it to the doorman, or
I'm gonna stick with this. So we have a little carrot cake. We have it without nuts and raisins.
Yep.
Chocolate layer cake, and I've had some of these cakes at Brandon's home. This is pretty amazing. This is pretty epic. So what I want to get into really quickly before. With basketball,
yep,
right. I know you're teaching kids, and every time I run into someone who knows you, they're always telling you that you're like the greatest. Everybody loves you.
Right? That's great to hear. I appreciate that.
And is there any way, is there any foundations, anything people can contribute to?
Yeah. Well, we started the foundation in my parents' name, the Betty and Lloyd Adams Foundation. And that is that's the vehicle kind of using to kind of for the street naming ceremony. And the idea and the concept behind that is to kind of support youth that embody the spirit of my parents, so whether it's entrepreneurship or sport, and try to raise some money eventually to provide scholarships. The organization is in its infancy stages, so I haven't been accepting donations at this point, just because I want to make sure that everything is in the right place and I'm doing everything properly. I wouldn't just want to take people's money without having the right strategy together. But I've used other vehicles to raise money. We've had some of these collabs, like the pancakes I was just telling you. We've done a lot of merch sales. So like we've been selling t-shirts and things like that. So Lloyd's merchandise as well. And anytime we do a collab, capsule, some of that money will go back to the foundation as well. We also were lucky enough in, I want to say 2022, we were tapped to do a collaboration with Kith. I don't know if you're familiar with Kith. Kith is a very, very, very popular clothing line. They have shops in all over New York, LA, Miami, Paris, and them and Vans. You're familiar with Vans? Yeah.
Vans,
So we came out with a pair of Lloyd's carrot cake Vans, actually. So
really,
yeah, we designed the Vans in partner with the Kith design team. And they were very cute. I wish I could.
Let me see. Can we pull them up?
Yeah, we can try out Lloyd's carrot cake Vans.
Let's see. Why is my?
It's LLOYDS.
Yeah, it's my keyboard's.
But yeah, then they were very popular. We still have some limited sizes left. But yeah, it was really cool going through that process. They have a lot of the carrot logos in different Yeah, so that's them right there.
Let's see if we can share. Those are cool.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. Are these all?
Yeah, those are all different.
Let's do that. That's like a great shot of it, right?
Yeah.
So let me pull that up, and then
This is actually the spot that
where,
we did together.
So is that
no, that's
where? Sorry, folks.
yeah, that's Kiss.
Let me just
Instagram there.
Let's just. I'm gonna get these look really cool. Let's just see if visit site. Let's just see if these come up. Yeah, there we go. Oh, those are cool, man. Let's just.
I'm gonna have all the different angles on the side over there.
Yep. I'm gonna click through it. So let's share the screen. Share screen, and then we have.
No, it's the top one.
Top one. Look at that. All right, cool. So let me just make sure that's on the screen. All right, cool. And then I'm going to click through. We're not going to be able to see it while I'm clicking through, but let's, yeah, look at that. Those are cool, man. Like, I never even thought, what a cool concept. A friend of mine hand painted some vans. He's a very famous artist.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I can bring those up, but that's for another discussion. But man, those are cool. And what did these go for?
We were selling them for $100 each.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, people are still after marketing them.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's pull that down. Really cool. Now the proceeds for that go to
the foundation.
Well.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent, man. Excellent. Well, listen, I'm going to keep you here for a few more minutes. I just so when you left the marketing group,
yeah,
how much of it, like, I mean, again, I have no idea what the profitability of the business is and what you were making, et cetera. But how much of it was just like, my mom's gone. This was my family's passion. I'm in no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Just because the situation I was in, I felt like I had built or navigated through a career that it was a career path that I had always kind of, really wanted. It was always, if I wasn't playing basketball, I wanted to be, around the game on the marketing side. And I absolutely enjoy. So like before that, I worked with Models. I was on their marketing team, and would, handle a lot of the events for them. And then I started with Game 7. I got to work with clients that, literally that had so much passion for it. Like Nike basketball was, Jordan basketball was just, as a kid growing up, just everything for me. I'm a big sneaker guy. So to be able to work with Foot Locker, be able to work with Jordan was like the dream job, and you're flying all over the country and, getting to do these cool events. So it was, on one side, it was like a tough transition to kind of have to scale back that side of my career. I still, did some consulting and worked, in freelance basis as like time permitted. And even to this day, I'll still pick up a project here or there, just, for extra money or just to stay kind of adjacent to the game. But the way that my mom passed, it was so sudden and so unexpected. And it was like, I got a call that she was in the hospital, which is like out super uncommon. And by the time I got there, they were giving me bad news. And I went through that process. I had to say goodbye. It's coming up on 40 years now. But I left that hospital, and it just like was like, all right, well, time to get to work. You have to go to the bakery because
it's got to keep going.
Yeah, like there's literally hundreds of cakes coming out of the oven right now. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna close up tomorrow? Or what are we gonna do with all these cakes? What are we gonna do with the staff? Who's gonna inform X, Y, and Z? And it's like, at that point, my sister, she's I can't. Everybody grieves very differently, but she I wanted to be able to give her the time that she needed. So I felt like it was my duty, to just get right to it. And it's something that my dad always said to me anyway. It's just like he'd always say, like this is gonna be yours someday. So like you you know, you got to be able to know how to talk to staff and talk to customers and handle business and handle finances and be able to be good with money and um yeah. So it was almost innate. Like
Yeah,
I didn't have a
yeah.
choice,
Well, it
like
seems like it
just
was just like you knew immediately, right?
yeah.
Now, was your sister working for Lloyd's at the time?
No,
Or
she was also in the cable industry. She worked for CBS. Um Still, continues to um with her job there. So
it's crazy.
yeah.
So you just jumped in, and you were thinking of your staff. How many people do you employ?
Between both locations, it's upwards. I mean, close to 30 people almost.
So they're
You know,
faced with losing their jobs if you decide to close shop. And then
yeah,
so
yeah.
you just
But I mean, that was never even a thought.
right.
That was never even a thought. I mean, I remember somehow the word got out, and next thing you know, the news is there. ABC wants to interview this and the other, and they're like, what's going to happen? It was never a thought
Right.
that it would stop.
Right.
I mean, that this thing is bigger than me and my sister. Like, this is now generations
Yep.
thinking through it. So it's like we have a duty to make sure it continues to grow and thrive and support the community. The thing about that time, as hard as it was, like the community really rallied behind us and
Yep.
was super super supportive.
Yep.
And the same way that they are supportive every year and support this business and patiently wait for hours and hours. I mean, I see people in the snow, in the rain, waiting to get cake. It's crazy.
So I played paddleball every day at Van Cortlandt Park,
Mhm.
and I drive past Lloyd's, and that day on Thanksgiving,
That Wednesday
week, I was
before, that
just like,
Tuesday before, the
it,
Monday
it
before.
was just so nuts.
Yeah,
and,
it's crazy.
and I read in an article today, people will be like, "Hey, I'm here from the Carolinas. I had to come get my cake."
Yeah,
and,
that was one thing my mom, she used to love to kind of stick her chest out about. Is like how far the cake has made it.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, well, people come." And say, I'm going back to China with this. I'm taking this to
That's
Africa.
amazing.
I'm sending this to somebody that's deployed right now in Kuwait.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, so it's great.
By the way, if you all saw the cakes on my desk right now, it's crazy. Like I'm see, the thing is, I'm tempted to eat every bit of that, but I like that you're going to give some of those to the staff.
Yeah, for sure.
Do these ever end up at the Bowery Mission downtown?
Oh yeah, there are times for sure. If there's like, if we're closed up for a little bit or there's excess, or I always try to support them as much as possible. With that though, it's tough because like they have specific rules on how stuff has to be packaged for distribution. So a lot of times when I am donating cakes and stuff like that, what she'll do is she'll give it to the staff and she'll let the staff
I see. Right.
Which is nice. Because they deserve a treat too.
Right, yeah.
Because they're doing a lot of great work down there.
One of the things I love is I was super depressed about 20 years ago, and I thought, I'm going to go volunteer at the Bowery Mission around the holidays so I could feel better. And I couldn't get in. There's so many people who line up, but during the holidays.
Yeah,
now,
to volunteer. Yeah.
Because that's how we get through the holidays.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to ask you before, and you don't have to agree to this, but I heard the story about how you and your wife Kristen met.
Okay.
And I love the story. Would you share that story with us?
Yeah, I mean, we were out in the city. We're both at a bar. And she actually, it's a local spot that we would go to, me and my buddies, a lot, just hanging out on the weekend. And she saw me the week prior, but didn't say anything. And then saw me again the night that we met. And she told her best friend at the time, I'm going to go up to him. I'm going to say something to him. And she said, no, don't do it. But she literally like cut across the entire bar of people, just like, and like we're both tall. So like I see her head just beelining over the crowd. I'm like, where is this girl going? Is she rush? And I'm on the bar too now. I think about it. I'm like, oh, she must be thirsty. She's rushing to get a drink. And I'm like, oh no, she's coming. She's coming to talk to you. And we locked eyes. I told her how pretty she was, and
Now
here we are.
Now, but wasn't there a second week where you actually brought a piece of cake?
Oh, yes. She always loves to tell her that.
Yeah.
The second time, I think one of the first things I mentioned was like, are you into desserts? And she's like, yes,
Well,
I
by the
love
way,
dessert. I mean,
if
who
I'm
doesn't
ever-
like dessert?
If I'm ever single again, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk up to a beautiful woman and say, "Are you into desserts?" No, I'm not going to have anything to back it up. But
but yeah, it's easy. The sweet tooth is definitely
Oh,
a
my
quick
God.
quick path to the heart.
Now she's Italian.
She is she's
So-
half Italian, half Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have the Italian. It's the sweets.
Yes.
We're just
yeah.
I mean a little.
The Puerto
anisette thing.
Rican the sweets
They do
too.
the-
To be honest, yeah.
All right. So now you mentioned the sweets, and then when you saw her the next week,
Yeah, she just reminded me. I didn't remember, but it is true. She said I had a piece of cake waiting for her in my vest pocket, and I do.
was it in one of these packages?
It was just like that in my pocket.
So this is how he really.
My dad always used to say, "You just gotta get them to taste it."
You just got to get him to taste it.
Yeah, just gotta get
And
them
they
to
did.
taste it. Yeah.
Amazing. So anyway, so LloydsCarrotCake.com.
LloydsCarrotCake.com.
Remember, that's 2 L's, folks.
LLOYDS. Yes.
LloydsCarrotCake.com. Order your cake. Get it anywhere you can in the country. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. This is, I mean, I'm kind of slurring my words right now, and I'm going to go a little deeper on some of these cakes here. But it's so amazing. And I'm telling you, the carrot cake, and they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
But that
Thank
carrot
you.
cake, the fresh carrots.
It's great.
It's
It's
just
great. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we're signing off, folks. Love y'all. And catch you next week. And
Thanks, Eric. This
again,
is
I want to
great.
just thank Brandon Adams.
Appreciate it, man.
Now,
Thank you.
I would tell him to stand up, but he's just going to go past the screen anyway. And it's just, but he's really a giant. And I didn't situate myself like this on purpose,
I'm
but
sure.
I'm glad. All right. Later, folks. Let me